Welcome to the show. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. Traditionally, women have been known as not being great sellers of themselves. And this lack of self-promotion has the ability to impede career growth, self-esteem, and even work promotions. And when thinking about investments, what about finding a good investment advisor to help invest for your future? And should you look for a female advisor? And how do you go about finding one? So to help us find out to best promote ourselves and our attributes, I'm joined by Jennifer Kuta, Vice President, Business Development and Sales at Caldwell Investment Management Ltd. Jennifer, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to speak to you right now.
Thank you. Hi, Liz.
Yeah, hi. So we were talking about the fact that as women, we tend to shy away from promoting ourselves. We tend to shy away from actually promoting great stuff that we've done to get us to wherever we are. Now, you said that you don't have to be in a sales role to benefit from using sales techniques and processes. So can you please expand on that and give examples of how it could help in a non-sales role or situation?
Yes, okay. Well, you brought up a good point. We as women don't traditionally know how to sell ourselves. And when you think of selling, it's not just for sales. It's you have to sell yourself to get a new job. You have to sell yourself to get a promotion. You have to sell an idea to a team. You have to sell having dinner with your husband, getting taken out, for
Absolutely.
example.
Relationships are huge.
And what happens, traditionally what happens to women as they're young, we're taught, don't promote yourself. It's not nice. It's not maybe ladylike. And don't brag about winning. Don't brag about your accomplishments. Whereas little boys are applauded when they win a contest, when they do well in school. And so this is inbred in us, and it's really hard to kind of change that. So what I like to do is think about my self-talk, and I think about when I have a tough decision to make, or I have to promote myself or sell myself, what negative talk can I change to positive talk? So for example, I'll never get that promotion. There's many people better than me. Changing that talk that we all have, that self-talk, from negative to empowering. So you might say something like, but I have all the attributes. I'm the best suited for this job. The reason I'm the best suited for this job is because I have the best communication skills and I have the most experience. So changing it that way.
And I wonder whether it has to do with being raised old school, traditional, quote unquote, or even if it's a cultural thing, because I know that when I was growing up, we weren't supposed to ask questions. And we were just supposed to, deal with what we had type of thing, and didn't really want to achieve to anything that was, greater than we were supposed to get to. So what do you think that that's actually happening a lot more these days as well?
Well, I think the cultural is a good point, and all cultures are different. So some traditionally raise females differently from males. My hope is, and in talking to a lot of younger friends that I have that have young children, they are saying they're treating the girls and the boys the same way. They're applauding their successes. They're encouraging them to advance at the same rate. So the next generation will tell. But I do know from interviewing some young women that I can tell they're still not confident. And that's part of the socialization. So again, it's part of changing that whole inbred thinking to a positive, I can do it, I'm the best for the role or whatever you're trying to achieve.
Now, you were saying that you see that when you interview younger women. Do you see that in resumes? And then when you start talking to them, they start opening up, and then there's this whole other side to them.
Yes, a whole other side. And once you start prodding and getting them to talk about their accomplishments, they are articulate. They can communicate their ideas extremely well. They're just a bit slower, and you have to bring it out in the interview. With the men, the young men, they tend to come in very confident, and they know what they want, and they're interviewing you. And that's the way the young women should look at it. They're interviewing you for a role, and they want to see if the role is a fit for them.
And that's a great way to throw to break right now. We will be right back with more about empowering yourself and actually selling yourself for life. Welcome back. We're discussing promoting ourselves and finding an investment advisor that works for who we are. And I'm joined by Jennifer Kuta here. Jennifer, before we went to the break, we were talking about the fact that, we're not great sellers of ourselves as women. And I talked to a lot of young women that are in university, and basically they said to me, they had a really hard time making a decision. They said, I can't make a decision. And so, we went into this whole speech about, how important it is to make a decision. And it doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong, because if it's wrong, these wrong decisions will help build upon your foundation of success, because, it takes a while to get there, and you're never going to be perfect. And I know that you and I were talking about self-talk and that negativity that resonates in your head, and it's debilitating at times. But you said that you've got a really good exercise that people can use to help get rid of that negativity in their head that debilitates and keeps them from actually being successful.
Yes, I do. And I use it many times. I've used it many times. And in fact, I use it every day to a certain extent, because I'm on the phones every day and I'm talking to strangers.
Right.
And I'm selling. So I use it every day. So what I suggest is that when you come up to a situation that you fear or you don't know what to do, you're stuck, like you said, Liz, write down all your negative thoughts. So for example, if it's you want to go in and ask your boss for a raise, what are your negative thoughts about that? Because you're scared. You're scared. I'm scared. He's not going to agree. Times are tough in the market right now. I don't deserve it. Write down all your negative self-talk. Make a chart. On the other side, think about how you can empower yourself. Think about how you can change that negativity into positivity. So, for example, okay, but the company's doing well. I'm part of why the company's doing well. I deserve a raise. I have all kinds of experiences. I've worked on XYZ project. I am worth giving that a raise to. And that helps you to overcome that fear, repeating that in your head. So that becomes your new mantra and your new self-talk.
It's interesting that you say that, because it is our own negativity that we have to deal with in our own head. You have no idea how much negativity I have in my head right now, or what I go through during the day. And I don't know what yours is either.
Exactly.
And it's almost like suffering in silence, because unless you tell me that you're struggling, unless I tell you, we can't help each other. And I think that's the problem. A lot of people really, that negativity is a big downward spiral. Rita Turcher was on the show, and she talked about having to go and ask for a raise. And she went to a male friend of hers and said, teach me what to do. And he said, ask for everything, right? Which is the exact opposite of what we normally do. And she said, well, I can't ask for everything. Like, no one's going to give me everything. And he said, if you ask for everything, you will get about 90% of what you ask for.
Exactly.
But we're not used to that.
No, you're right. And I have another example. When we look at men and women coming out of university, when they are going for their first job, men tend to negotiate a higher salary. And so women don't negotiate the higher salary. That affects them for the rest of their lives, because they go from one job to another. They're always in the back end of the salary scale,
yes,
no matter how many increases they get. And so that male's RSP by the end of retirement is much higher than the female's. So the female should say to themselves, I'm worth it. I like you said on your example, I can ask, And if they say no, they're probably going to give you 95% of what you asked for.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned this too, because Statistics Canada said in 2019, for every dollar that a male makes, a woman makes 87 cents. And women are in and out of the workforce, whether it's with children, taking care of their parents. And the bottom line is, we make less money, but we live longer than men. So we have to make sure that the money that we make actually outlives us. So, you know, it's a very tough situation for us to be in. However, when we come back, you and I are going to talk about your SMART goals, because this is something that you're really passionate about. So we'll be right back talking to Jennifer about SMART goals. Welcome back. Before the break, Jennifer and I were talking about SMART goals.
Yes.
So please explain that to us.
Okay. Well, because I'm in sales, and because every day I'm in sales, whether I'm working or not, I like to set targets and make goals for myself. And that's the best way to attain them. So I use an acronym. I didn't make this up. This is pretty well known, SMART. So be specific. Be specific. Have them measurable, make them measurable, make them attainable, make them realistic, and have a timeline on them. So oftentimes I'll go to New Year's resolutions. We tend to shoot for the moon. We make all kinds of resolutions, but they may not be very specific. They may not be attainable. For example, you know, you want to lose weight and you say, I'm going to lose 25 pounds by Easter. They're not realistic. They're not attainable. So make sure when you're setting your goals, and they're important for everything, planning for your retirement, planning for your future, make sure that they are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and you have a timeline. So I'm going to achieve this in 6 months, 1 year, 3 months, whatever your goal is.
You know, I love the fact that you said, you know, you need a goal. I am very goals-based as well. So when I want something or I want to achieve something, I will work up to it and I will give myself a timeline. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people want to get there very, very quickly and overnight. And I keep laughing about being an overnight success, but it took me 20 years to get here, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just it. If you are going to be successful at something, it's going to take years, months, whatever it is, but you can't do it over an hour.
No, exactly. And I like to use my sales example of, and you mentioned it earlier, Liz. If you get a no is just as important as a yes. A no is one step further to a yes. So make sure that you ask those questions, that you set those goals, and that you believe in yourself and your self-talk.
So we were talking about setting goals, the fact that women live longer than men with less money. So let's talk about finding a good investment advisor for yourself as a woman.
Okay.
You know, what should women look for when they're looking for an investment advisor? Because I can tell you, a lot of women, myself included, you know, I will book a restaurant reservation, whether I want to get my nails done, whether I want to get my hair done, whether I want to see a friend. I live by my calendar. I mean, I work in the industry, so it's a little bit different for me. But a lot of people think, oh, I'll deal with my finances at another time. I'll deal with it tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes another tomorrow. So how can women actually find somebody that will be working for them?
Well, you know what? We're lucky in this day and age because we have the internet. So you can do a lot of searches on the internet. I like to recommend that you use the internet to search. But one of the best ways to get an advisor is to have a referral from someone. So find a friend that is like-minded as you, maybe in a similar situation, you know, career women, that's a mother, that's divorced or married, or whatever the situation is, and ask them, who do you refer and why? Why did you go to that advisor in the first place, and why are you remaining? And they'll give you their reasons. And then do some research and interview them. It's really important to interview them. Have your questions all ready. Key for women, some key areas are they want a communicator. They want someone that's going to look them in the eye and listen to them. They want someone that's going to help them achieve their goals and help them realistically achieve their goals and help them holistically, because women tend to want to take care of their family, themselves, for the future, and maybe have to take care of their parents, and also looking at estate planning. So I like to say a holistic approach to an advisor is a good way, but definitely the interviewing. And then if you have a fit, proceed. But have a list of questions that you can ask the advisor. And if you're not on the same page, or you feel uncomfortable, or you feel they're not listening to you, don't go with that person, for sure.
Well, it's a very important relationship to have. And I've often said that I will never fail at anything, only because I surround myself with some pretty incredible people. And when I don't know something, I will actually speak to them and ask them for their opinion or whatever. We will be right back with more of Jennifer and looking for a proper investment advisor for our future. Welcome back. We're discussing promoting ourselves and finding an investment advisor that works for who we actually are with Jennifer Kuta, who's Vice President Business Development at Caldwell Investment Management. Jennifer, I want to talk to you about what type of questions should we be asking to make sure that we find the right person that's great for us. I mean, yeah, we can talk to our friends and they can make recommendations, but what are the questions that we really need to ask to make sure that it's a good fit for us?
That's a great question. And some of the questions you should consider are, how often are you going to communicate with me? Do you have a team that I'll be working with, or is it only you that I'll be working with? And can I meet the team? What's the process you take? What steps do you take to ensure that I meet my monetary goals and my personal goals? Also, what kind of statements do you provide me so that I can see how I'm doing? So what kind of paperwork do you provide? What do I need to come on board with you? Do you have any other people that work with you? For example, I'm concerned about estate planning. I don't have a will, and I've heard that you should have a will.
Absolutely.
Do you have someone that can help me with that? Do you have an accountant that helps you, or are you qualified? And then they will get into their own qualifications. And of course, you want to know how they get paid. Now, I'll say one thing on that. There's a lot of talk about, financial advisors overcharging. I can do it myself. A financial advisor an investment advisor is a professional. And it's like paying a lawyer or an accountant. They deserve a fee because they are helping you with your goals for your lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's very important, but it is important that you understand their compensation as well. So those are the key questions.
Those are really good answers to the questions. And yes, we all need a will. No matter how much money you have, whether you're a student, whatever it is, you still own something that's worth something, whether it's a computer. So we all do need a will, and we cannot die intestate. And that'll be a future show as well. But I want to talk to you about you. How did you get into sales?
That's a great question. I guess when I was younger, I never thought I would be in sales.
Mm-hmm.
With that being raised, women aren't salespeople.
Right.
Men are, and men are pushy, and sales is all about pushing, which is not true anymore. So I took a degree in communication. So I knew I always liked to relate to people. I knew I liked dealing with people. And one of my first jobs was in financial services, because that's where the jobs were at the time I graduated, and it was customer service. Now, I knew I liked dealing with people, but I didn't want to deal with irate people all the time. So
No one does.
Yeah, no one does. But I liked trying to figure out what their issues were and find solutions. And I found that when I started to work in sales, when I migrated to sales, a position came up for an inside salesperson. I could provide solutions. I wasn't a product pusher. I talked to and they were financial advisors, about solutions for their clients. So I loved the fact that could develop a relationship, I could find solutions, and that sales seemed to be the perfect role for what I wanted to do in my career. And I discovered that, it was a fluke. I had a marketing role, I had a compliance role prior to that, but sales, I knew, really got me up in the morning and wanting to go in and help people.
Usually, those wonderful positions that we get absolutely end up being, serendipity, a happenstance or whatever. And I just wanted to thank you so much for being here and sharing your story and helping other women, because it's been really, it's important. And a lot of people have problems asking questions. So thank you so much, Jennifer, for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
As Jennifer mentioned today, look at selling yourself as an opportunity and not as negativity or boasting, because men do it all the time and don't even think twice about it. So the next time you need to write your bio, your resume, or go in to ask for a raise, sell yourself. And when working with an advisor, remember, it's a relationship. Make sure you're both communicating and you feel comfortable with the person that you're working with. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski, and I'm trying to empower you and make frugality fashionable. Bye for now.